What's up, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving from the Fantasy Files podcast. Hopefully, you're all spending time with family and eating some really good food by the time this video comes out. I just wanted to do a little Thanksgiving thing here. I was going to upload a full episode and kind of just put out whatever we have in our backlog, because usually we have like 2 or 3 episodes at a time that we've recorded that we're trying to figure out, which ones we want to put up next and all that. But we're kind of in a weird spot with episodes right now, especially for this week, because the episodes that I have left to edit are only 2. We have Hellbent, the sequel to Ninth House, which our Ninth House episode didn't do particularly well, so I'm not even really sure if it's an episode that people want. It has to go out at some point, but I was like, is Thanksgiving really the time to put out an episode that people probably aren't really going to watch in the first place? And then the other one is Skin Game, the next book in our Dresden Files series that we're working through. And that one would have been fine to go out today, except it's a very long video, and so it would have taken a long time to edit, and I just didn't have a whole lot of time this week. The other thing with that video is we just put out some Dresden Files content recently, so I didn't want those too close together. So I decided to make a video based on Thanksgiving and things that we've been thankful for this year. We'll be going into a deeper discussion of things that we're thankful for and highlights of 2024 when we do our end of the year live stream on December 22nd. But I did want to shout out a couple things that happened this year and maybe a few books I read that I'm particularly thankful for. First off, the thing that we as an entire podcast are most thankful for is you guys. Thank you so much for giving us the best year that we've had as a podcast so far. We've had so many new subscribers and viewers. Some of our videos took off with thousands and thousands of views, and that was awesome. But you guys have also made us cross over the 1,000 subscriber milestone, and you guys have also been showing up more in the comments and giving us great things to think about and discuss with you and discuss on the podcast. Really, we've been getting some great stuff in those comments, so keep those coming. We love to chat with you guys. But yeah, it's just been so engaging, and we can't wait to see this audience grow even more in 2025. And that is a scary number to think about. The years are going by way too fast, and it freaks me out sometimes. Secondly, the thing that Gabe and I are the most thankful for this year is our new co-host, Sam. She came in at a perfect time and has brought so much life and laughter to our podcast. Honestly, things were kind of starting to get a little bit slow. Maybe you could say stale, I'm not sure. But definitely a little slow on the podcast, and we were desperately trying to find ways to improve it and make it fresh again, and she has just been amazing at doing exactly that. You guys have all shared so much love for Sam in the comments and Twitter DMs, and we just want to thank you guys for making her feel so welcome this year. It has been a great introduction to our podcast. We've also had a lot of other guests on the show this year as well. We'll go into more detail at the end of the year, but I wanted to quickly shout out Jake Bishop and Gavin, who have been joining us for our Dresden Files episodes. It took us a while to get those episodes really dialed in, but just like Sam fitting in perfectly to the podcast in a time of need, these guys have done the same thing for our Dresden Files series, and they've been fantastic. Seriously, Jake or Gavin, if you guys are watching, we love both of you so much, and thanks for being here for those episodes. And other ones too. They've been on other stuff as well, but they're kind of a semi-permanent fixture of our Dresden Files episodes, and it just it makes it all click really, really well. Okay, so let's get to some books for the year. These are books that I'm thankful for that have changed the way that I read in some way, either expanding my interests or challenging me to read like deeper or more challenging books. Obviously, I am not going to be spoiling anything for our end of the year live stream, like my top 5 or anything like that. You guys will definitely get a deep dive into those in the live stream when it shows up. But these are just a few books that I am thankful for, or a series or whatever. So first we have Sherlock Holmes. I've only talked about this a little bit on the podcast because it's a pretty recent thing. But I read House of Silk, which is the first Sherlock Holmes book that I ever read. Like I've never really I don't think I've read any other Sherlock Holmes books, and this is by Anthony Horowitz, so it's not the original author, but it is the first book since Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's death that the estate, the Sir Conan Doyle estate, has actually canonized. They wouldn't touch any of the other ones that have been written since his death, but Anthony Horowitz did such a good job that they decided to canonize it, which is what made me read it, because I want to read the canon works. I don't want to read fan fiction, essentially, right? So I read House of Silk, and then I more or less immediately went on to Moriarty is the next Sherlock book that he wrote, and I hope that he writes more because it has just made me fall in love with Sherlock Holmes as a story and as a character. I just absolutely love it. It made me pick up the Sherlock Holmes video game. I don't know if it's on every console, but it is on PC. It's called Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, and then the same company made a bunch of other Sherlock Holmes games that all look awesome. But I started watching the movies again, like the Sherlock Holmes movies. So it has really kind of opened me up to a whole new franchise, much like the Harry Potter game did that got me into the books and everything. I'm really digging Sherlock Holmes this year, and I'm really thankful that I found that book. So I think in our end of the year episode last year, I mentioned that I had been watching the Silo series on Apple TV. It is very good, but naturally I was like, I want to read the books. I did. I read the books, or at least I read the first 2, and I am thankful for these books teaching me that adaptations can be way better than the source material in some cases. You know, we get we're getting a lot of adaptations right now, a lot of which I am not super happy with, like Wheel of Time and Rings of Power, and you guys know the drill. I talk about that a lot, but I was surprised to find that when I was reading the books, I genuinely enjoyed the show significantly more than the books. So that was kind of cool. Also in that same vein, I'm really thankful for the Dark Matter TV show. It didn't really teach me anything or there's no specific reason, I guess. I really enjoyed the Dark Matter TV show because it is so faithful to the book that Blake Crouch wrote. Matter of fact, Blake Crouch was, I think, just the head of essentially everything on the TV show. He was like the creative director and writer and everything. So that show is amazing. If you have not seen it already, you could literally watch the TV show and know exactly what happens in the book. It's that close. Lastly, I am also thankful for the Stormlight Archive series. Again, no reason in particular. I'm just really glad that we're finally reading them. They're very good. I expected them to be, but really they're just amazing. And I'm so thankful that we're able to do this with Sam. We started it I guess a few months now after she joined, but she was kind of the catalyst, is that the right word? She was kind of like, okay, we need to read Stormlight. Sam's here, she wants to read Stormlight, let's do it. So I'm really, really glad that we are finally here doing it. We're about to record our episode for the the third book, Oathbringer, I believe. I hope that's the right title. But yeah, we're just really, really enjoying them. A couple final things we got to do this year that I'm very grateful for is we got to meet authors Zach Argyle and his wife Bookborn, obviously the popular YouTuber, booktuber, whatever. And we had a lovely dinner with them. And this is after knowing them for years and years now. So it was so cool to like meet them in person and hug them and just like hang out for a while. It was so cool. It was just a massive highlight of the year to see them in person. Shortly after that dinner, literally the same day, like hours later, Chris and Gabe and I all got to go to a live recording of Through the Griffin Door. And if you don't know, this is the Super Carlin Brothers podcast, or I guess YouTube. Super Carlin Brothers is their YouTube channel, and then they have two podcasts. They have Popcorn Culture, which I was actually just listening to before recording this, and then they have Through the Griffin Door, which is their chapter by chapter podcast of the Harry Potter books. I've been a fan of these guys for quite a while now. I think I started with Super Carlin Brothers right after reading the Harry Potter books, because I was like, oh, I want to see some like deep dives on these books. And they do a lot of videos like just random theories, like what if Harry was in Slytherin, or like, why does this character do this, or whatever. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but they do theory videos and whatnot. But then they also have the Popcorn Culture podcast, which is just both of them sitting down and having a conversation about whatever comes to mind. They pick like random topics and they talk about like their week, they talk about their kids and their family and stuff. It's really wholesome, but it's also really, really funny, and I always have a great time with it. So, Through the Gryffindor was, I think they started it up this year. I think possibly even during the summer. I can't remember. But I've been a big fan of that, just going chapter by chapter through the Harry Potter stuff. So we got to see them do that live, and we got to meet them. We paid for like the VIP tickets to like actually go up and shake their hand and have a conversation with them. And while the conversation was a little bit shorter than I was hoping for, we were kind of at the end of the line, and so everybody else got kind of a long time to talk to them, and we only got a couple minutes. It was really great to just kind of be able to chat with them for a second and tell them how much I appreciate their show. So a few weeks after this, Gabe actually flew out to where I live, and he was here for a whole weekend, and we recorded an episode together, and we got matching tattoos, which was a ton of fun. I think I've shown mine off before. Maybe I'll link the video up here where we talk about it a little bit. But yeah, we got tattoos together. That was super cool. Dresden Files tattoos. And then he also introduced me to a new show called From, and we spent most of the weekend watching that. And we played The Quarry, which is a lot like Until Dawn. If you ever played that, you're like in a horror movie basically, and you make decisions like running into the woods, like, do we go left or do we go right? And you're like both on the couch, like trying to decide together. So that's always a ton of fun. We really, really like those games. But it was just a great wrap up to the year to have my best friend come out and hang out with me, and just to spend some like real quality time. Ever since I moved out of Washington, it's been really hard to maintain a lot of my friendships and stuff. And so anytime somebody comes out and visits me, it is just the best thing ever, and I'm so appreciative of him for it. And Chris has done it too. Chris has come out and visited me, and so has my cousin. So it's been great, and all of that happened this year. So that it's all been fantastic, getting to see people that I've kind of been away from for the past couple years. But enough about that. Overall, honestly, this year has just been a blast. I've been able to kind of reimagine my background here, which is pretty cool. Make sure I didn't turn off my microphone accidentally when I bumped it. But I've gotten a few really nice special editions to show off. You can see them up there. I think I've done like a shelf tour before that you can probably see. But yeah, like I have the Mina Lima, like Harry Potter's. I have Free the Darkness, the first book in the King's Dark Tidings series. And then I have actually Zach Argyle's Threadlight omnibus over there that is beautiful. It looks like one of the Brandon Sanderson special editions from like who does their special is it Folio? Somebody does like leather bound versions of his stuff, and it looks a lot like that. It's illustrated. All of these are illustrated, which is really cool. But yeah, I've definitely gotten more into book collecting this year. I added my second shelf here of just stuff, just like random books and special editions and whatnot. So yeah, that's been super fun. I like my background a lot more now than I did the green screen. I'm glad that I switched to something like this, and I want to keep adding to it. I want to add like some more like art like up here, or maybe like over on this wall, like move those pictures. Those pictures are actually from the Through the Gryffindor thing that I was talking about. They're both signed. Yeah, that's kind of a goal for next year actually, is to get this looking like really amazing. I'm happy with where it's at, but I want to add some more to it for sure. I've also started adding random like costumes and all sorts of stuff to our live streams and videos, and it just seems like as a podcast entirely, we are having a lot more fun, and we're getting a lot more wacky and just being more silly. And I think that was much needed. I think we needed to kind of get away from the like, okay, we're talking about this book this week and we're going to be like really serious about it. I think we just kind of needed to make it our own. And in real life, we are weird people, man. Like, we are odd. We like just funny, random things. We have a certain sense of humor. And I think it was about time that we started bringing that to the podcast. So I'm glad that we've been able to do that. But more than anything, we are just thankful for you guys once again watching, and we want to bring you the best show that we possibly can with what we have available. You know, what we have available isn't always a lot, but we try to do a lot with what we do have. I know not every episode is going to be for everyone, and we kind of diversify a lot rather than sticking to one particular niche. Like a couple of years ago, we were doing like Dexter episodes, like recaps and reviews, and there's more Dexter coming out, so we're gonna do more Dexter episodes because that's like my favorite show ever. So you know, like I said, I know it's not going to be for everyone. I know we don't like stick to our particular niche, but we do want to thank all of you for hanging in there with us while we kind of figure out what we want this show to be. 3 years on, and we're still trying to sort this stuff out.
It's been 84 years.
Which is crazy but fun, and we're just trying to find a place for ourselves in the big YouTube algorithm. But you guys make that journey so worth it. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all of your support, all of your comments, even if you disagree with us. Thank you for being along for the ride. We'll see you next week with another episode. It'll probably be Hellbent, and then pretty soon we'll see you on December 22nd for our big end of the year live stream. And after that, we'll probably take a couple weeks off to kind of resettle after the holidays and let everything kind of mellow out a bit. But during that live stream, we will tell you all about what's in store for 2025. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Love you all. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you next week. Bye.